Hello, my friends. The other day I showed you some arrowheads from my collection that had been missing in my apartment for well over a year. That should give you some indication of how cluttered my apartment is. Well, I saved the best ones for this video. This is a small collection, but a really neat collection. Some very interesting points and things here to show you. So let's get right into it. This first arrow is rather unusual. I would consider it to be a dart. There we go, a dart point. But what's really unusual about it is it has the appearance of a possible small flute here at the end, but it also has two notches. This reminds me a little more of a Paleolithic point than an archaic point. However, Paleolithic would be kind of out of place here in Saginaw, so I'm going with it being possibly an early archaic piece. Very interesting piece. I love the color, the dark gray chert. Very nice piece. Now, whilst this one is not made as nicely as the one I just showed you, it's made of the same kind of chert, very dark gray, waxy. It is stemmed with corner notching. So I would place this one square in the middle to late archaic periods. Nice point. This one is a personal favorite find of mine. It's a nice little point, and if you notice at the very bottom, at the base, it has a very slight reddish brown in the chert. It is gray, light, with some dark gray up towards the tip. This is side notched and probably is early woodland. This is a beautiful point. It's probably long enough to be considered a spear point. It is made of a light tannish white chert. It is a stemmed base. Really not much of an attempt at all at notching. I would place this in the late archaic. Let's take a look at the other side. Very nice point. For a field run find, it's very nice. Now here's a selection of bases that I found. This one, that would have been a beauty. It would have been nice and thinly made. It is corner or side notched, rather uneven side notching. One's up here, one's down there. But and then this piece is again a stemmed piece, another stemmed piece, and another stemmed piece. All of these would be late archaic to early woodland. Here's a really nice graving spur on a very fine piece of chert. The spur is right here, but the chert has so many colors mottled in through it. I hope you can see all the colors here. This is a fairly, let me put this back down there. This is a fairly large one for a graving spur and a very nice one. This one was actually found by my estranged buddy Gil, and he showed me the flake and I asked him if he wanted it. He said no, so I took it and then told him that it was a really nice graving spur. This probably wasn't nice of me, but it made a nice addition to my collection. I think you'll agree. And this is a handheld knife. It could have been a perforator. It's definitely brought to a point and pressure flaked on this edge and this edge. The chert is not familiar to me. It looks unusual for the farm or for along the Saginaw River near the farm field, but it is a really cool piece. And I found that one. Then earlier I mentioned to you Lavina arrowheads because I had one here that resembled one. This would have been a Lavina, and it would have been continued up to about here with a nice point. It would have been a nice long Lavina. This would have been late woodland. Now the Lavina points were early, in the late woodland, but they also made a resurgence in the, I meant the early woodland. They also made a resurgence in the late woodland, that type style. So that's interesting. And then the other two are just tips from broken arrowheads. So I hope you enjoyed taking a look at these points, and I will be back with you again real soon. Love you all on the other side of that screen. God bless you very much, and see you soon. Hasta la vista, baby.